Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Anne and today I'm going to be bringing you the book recommendation book tag, and this was created by Steph Bower. I will link her channel down below. But basically I have a bunch of questions here and a bunch of books in front of me where I'm just going to be talking about them. So the first question of this book recommendation tag is a book you tell people is your favorite. Now the book that I have been saying for years is my favorite is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. You'll see a lot of Sarah J Maas on this list, but I am obsessed with her. Every book I've given is 5 stars so far. I'm absolutely obsessed, but Throne of Glass is definitely my favorite series of them all. I really love Selena as a main character, and I just really love how big and expansive this world gets and how many twists, turns, laughs, cries, everything that it gives me. Then we have the next question is a book that is a guilty pleasure, and a big guilty pleasure for me is this one, is Carving for Cara by Melissa McSherry and Dana Leanne. This is a very short novella and it's set around Halloween time, and we're following our main character Cara, and she has gotten a stalker and he is obsessed with her, and we just follow their sort of relationship, how they meet, and all the fun spicy time, and it's just such a great time. And I'm very excited because the sequel is going to be announced, and I'm very excited. It's going to be a full-length novel and I cannot wait. But this is definitely a guilty pleasure. It's very quick to read and it gets me out of a reading slump all the time. The next one is a book everyone loved but you didn't, and for this one is definitely going to be Magnolia Parks by Jess Hastings. For me, I got 20 pages in, I wanted to strangle both characters. I did not like it, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book and this series. Everyone seems to love it. I did not like it, so I DNF'd it within 20 pages. So that's that. Then the next question is a book you read the fastest, and this for me was White Hawk Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is one of her older titles. I found this at clearance at one of my local stores, so I decided to pick it up and check it out. I read it in a day, and I decided then to go pick up the book 2 and book 3. I'm obsessed with this series. I'm absolutely in love with it. I've heard no one talk about this, but I read it in a day and I was so obsessed. But this is about a young girl named Layla. She wants to fit in, but she is half gargoyle, half demon, and she then comes in contact with another demon, and yeah, it's just the funnest time. I love this series and it's making me want to reread it, which I don't have time for, but yes, this one I read so quick. The next one is a book that deserves more hype, and this is another older title for me, but I am in love with this series again. This is The Immortal Rules by Julia Kagawa, and I have such an amazing time with this. I read this many years ago back home in Ireland when I was a teenager. I read book 1 and book 2, and book 3 wasn't actually out yet, so I finally finished it last year, and because I just remembered about this series and I have a great time with this. This is about a vampire in a world where it's dystopian, and we have these sort of rabbits who are really infected vampires who are running these running wild, and then we also have these towns where vampires are ruling over and the humans have to live under the vampires, and it's just such a great time. It's very good, and I love it so much. The next one is a book that is becoming a movie or a TV series, and I recently just read The Dry by Jane Harper, this one up here, and I have noticed, I've then googled it, and The Dry is actually a movie now, but the sequel Force of Nature is becoming a movie this year, which seems interesting, so I'll definitely have to be picking up book 2 at some stage and going through this one and then possibly watching both movies. Then we have a book you have reread the most. Now this is definitely a tie between ACOTAR by Sarah J Maas or Harry Potter by She Who Must Not Be Named. I know Harry Potter is a safe place for me. It was my space that I could run away to when my childhood wasn't the greatest. I don't agree with what J.K. Rowling has said or done, but it definitely is true that I've reread these books so many times, and the same with ACOTAR. I recently just reread this again, so I continue on with the series, but they are definitely books that I have reread so many times. Then we have a book that you from a genre you don't generally read. I don't generally read like contemporary literary fiction or magical realism or anything like that, but this one is 10,000 Doors of January by Alexei Harrow is stunning, beautiful, amazing. I loved it so much. It's such a lyrical, beautiful story. And as we go through this, we're not really sure if it is magical or not, or if our main character is imagining these things. But yeah, it's definitely not something that I read. I was very scared to read this for many many years, but it was a 5-star read for me and one of my favorites of last year. Then we have a book that deserves all the hype it gets, and I've recently just read this and I'm so annoyed with myself that I didn't read it earlier, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I've got the pretty Australian New Zealand special edition. I'm very glad that we finally are getting special editions because we don't get them very often, but this is definitely well deserving of the hype. I gave this 5 stars, absolutely loved it, and I'm definitely going to be picking up Iron Flame very soon, and I definitely think that this is so worth the hype. If you haven't picked it up yet, I definitely suggest that you should. And we have a book you usually recommend when someone asks for a recommendation. I would definitely say A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This is my first S.T. Gibson book. I am absolutely in love with it. This is another vampire sort of story, and we're following the bride of Dracula, and she's telling the story of how she met Dracula and how their ending has come about. I am obsessed with this book. I would definitely recommend it if you're definitely into fantasy, if you like epistolary novels, and if you like short reads. I found this so quick and easy to read. It was so fast paced, and I just had a great time with it, and I will definitely be recommending it until my dying breath. Then we have a book with your favorite character or characters, and I am definitely going to be saying The Sons of Etna by Athena M. Bliss. I recently read this, again 5-star read for me, and I recently read the sequel, which is again another 5-star read. This is a just all the characters in here are so great. I love Lai, I love Lucy, I love Ares, I love Klein. There's so many characters in here that I really love, and I'm just very happy that I found the series. This is a Kiwi author, and I really love just supporting her, and I'm going to be meeting her next week at Armageddon, and I'm very excited. But yeah, and again another stunning special edition. And one thing that is so great about this book is it actually has like illustrations throughout this book. So let's find another one for you. There's illustrations throughout. Hopefully it's not spoilery. Like illustrations throughout, and it's just such a great time, and I love it so much. There's Ares. He's one of my favorite characters in here. This is just the most spectacular book I've ever read. The next question is a book you wish you could live in, and again I would say The Sons of Etna, again because this world is just so, it feels so cozy, it feels so welcoming and loving and open, and the LGBTQIA plus diversity within this book is amazing, and I just really want to be a part of this family, even though they are quite messed up and dysfunctional, but it is something that I really want to be a part of. Then a book you thought you would hate but you didn't, and one of those is, like, I have a few of those books to be fair, and the main one that I read at the beginning of this year, I'm pretty sure it was, is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I was very wary going into this one. I didn't pick it up for years after it was released because I was scared this was going to be a President Snow redemption story, and that's definitely not what it is. This is just following Snow as he's growing up and finding out how he becomes the way that he is, and it was just such a great and interesting book, and I've recently just seen that the next one's being announced, and I'm very excited for that one in March 2025. But yeah, I tabbed this up. I had a great time with it. I had many tabs for things like, where am I? Attitude to the Districts, nods to the original series, Why Snow the Way That He Is, criticism, important quotes, unnecessary violence, government control, privilege and and opulence of the capital and understanding Snow's brain. I just really delved deep into this. It's a really great character study of Snow, and I just had an amazing time. The next one is a book that made you cry, and this one made me cry while I was camping, and I wasn't very happy that it made me cry while camping. I will need to reread this, but it is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. This is stunning and beautiful and just heartbreaking at the same time. I love this book so much, and I underlined and highlighted many things, but I will need to reread it so I can actually tab it up, because I was out camping and I didn't really want to be pulling out my tabs. So yeah, this made me cry so much at the end, and there's not many books that do make me cry, but when they do, and they hit hard. And a book that you wish you could read for the first time again, and this would definitely be Nevernight by J. Kristoff. This is one of my favorite series of all time. I love Mia Corvair. I love this whole series. It's so dark and gritty, and I just wish that I could read this for the first time again and just fall in love with this whole series all over again. And again, it's another series that I think I'm definitely going to be needing a reread of, but yeah. So that is the book recommendation book tag created by Steph. Thank you, Steph, for creating this tag for me to do. And yeah, just make sure to check out Steph's channel down in the comments in the link below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, comment down below if you want to take part in this, or if you have any answers to the questions that I just went through, let me know in the comments below, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Bye.